And welcome back to the finale of Shantae, half Genie Hero, where we're going to infiltrate Risky's hideout to try and stop the Dynamo from corrupting the Genie realm. This is the place. Risky Boots is hiding the Dynamo somewhere close by. One final word of warning. It's you! The enemy succeeds in turning the Genie realm to evil. You must destroy us and our magic with us. Hesitate and you will fill the world forever in darkness. I understand. I believe what my friend said. I can't think I'm half good anymore. Everyone in Sequin Land. The entire Genie realm is counting on me. I'll stop Risky Boots at any cost. The final level actually starts in silence, but it's a mermaid section. You can't touch these waterfalls, unfortunately. Like, just adding to my point that the waterfalls are just glorified tunnels in specific spots. But once you get through it, you immediately enter an auto-stroller, where it reuses the slide music. You know, from the end of Mermaid Falls, where you slide down as you go down. It replays that. But this auto-scroll it's piss and piss. It's very easy. But this level is, like I said, there isn't a single collectible in this level, but it is probably the longest normal level in the game. It's entirely linear, but it is. Because we're in the mermaid form, any Starman creature that we pass by will fall in love with us and will aid us. Every time you shoot as the mermaid, they will shoot their little pellets with you. It's impossible to not have the mermaid bubble before you go in here, just in case you were wondering. Because of the way side quests work and the way the structure is, you absolutely will end up with the mermaid bubble before you get in here. So you can just power through it and attack anything that comes your way. Which is also required because otherwise how the hell are you getting through these blocks? You'd off-screen yourself. These spike balls will cause a chain reaction, so if there's a few nearby each other, you need to hit one. Also with the Tinkerbats that are swimming around, one hit will break their helmets, causing them to drown, which is really gruesome when you think about it. But it works in killing them. You see, like, you hit them once and they just drown, and so they just float off as defeated enemies. The only thing that's even a remote threat in this section are the spike balls, because if they explode, they're gonna hurt you if you're too close. So just hit them once and then back off and you'll be fine, otherwise you're gonna take pot shots. But if you've been going for 100%, even if you haven't really been too fast about gem collecting, you probably have enough gems to buy the double defense anyway, so the extra hearts plus double defense, yeah, you're not in trouble here. We're back at full health already. The main meat of this level is the next chunk, which I'm not a fan of, just because it feels very wonky at points, and the hitboxes of some of the obstacles has always felt slightly off, and they've never really done too much to address it, so I'm always a bit standoffish with it. God, you finally get to listen to the full version of the slide music, and it's actually a pretty damn good piece. Shame it ends now as soon as the electric guitar kicks in. But this whole OST, especially like the tracks that only play in very set scenarios, listen to them because they're usually far longer than you think they are and far better. But this is Act 2. This is the main core of the level, and it's the part that I kind of have a little trouble with. Not in terms of difficulty, like I'm going to die a few times, so just jumping the gun a bit here. I hit the spikes a couple times and end up getting screen wiped. But that's not why I don't like it. What I don't like about it is that it feels finicky. Like the second half of it, you'll see what I mean when we get to it. It feels extremely finicky for most of the time. And so when something breaks or doesn't work, how much of it is your fault feels very inconsistent. Like, it is still pretty much completely your fault, but I guess I've just been spoilt too much by other stuff that it just feels off. Like, I played so much Super Meat Boy, The End Is Nigh, things like that, where it is 100% on you. Because the game is so pixel perfect smooth of it that it can only be on you, that it feels odd doing it. Also in this section they expect you to use the monkey, but fuck that. You'll notice that a lot. They expect you to use pretty much every power up you've acquired here, but there's barely any reason to. Outside of a couple of instances like that where the harpy would hit the head, so you have to use the monkey. The harpy they don't really expect you to use at all until the very end of this bit, where we start getting to the part where there's no platforms, which I think actually starts on this very next screen. Okay, no, not quite yet. They expect you to use the monkey dash, but fuck that. Oh, too soon. But now we've got the Harpy talent, we can safely deal with those ones. This one you need the monkey form for, because look at it. Do I try and... Oh no, I was going to say, do I try and be bold about it? If you're brave, you can dash towards that spike wall, and if you just pull back a little bit, you can just barely make it, but it's so tight, it's barely worth it. But you're saving half a second if you're speedrunning it from just not climbing down the wall a little bit more. Get what I mean? Like, it's not worth it. And these larger ones, I can't remember what these enemies are called, the larger ones. I think they're Tinker Slugs, but they didn't look like the one that we fought as the boss, the giant Tinker Slug. So who knows? But you'll get a save screen once you go through here, because, and this is just the game being generous, if you game over here, you're not got that far back, because this is the section that I don't like. And it's just entirely because the Harpy's controls aren't good. They're very finicky, but at the same time very loose. So you'll drift far more than you ever need to, but then sometimes you just won't drift at all. And you've got to constantly be tapping the A button. But then what the game doesn't fucking tell you, if you get too close to the lava, even if you don't touch it, the game will stop registering A inputs. And I've even went out of my way to test this. You can get pretty close to the lava, but if you get too close, it will just stop registering like the jump inputs, which is the only reason why I died there, because it stopped registering my jump. I definitely pressed it on time. I even looked back on my input log. I definitely pressed it on time, because I like to check that sort of thing, because I don't want to be like, oh, I pressed it when I clearly ran off the edge sort of thing. I don't want to be that guy. I checked the input log. I definitely pressed it, and it happened again there because I got too close to the lava. The only thing I can think to put it on is that the boundary that picks up you failed is probably higher than the actual lava, like the lava's actual death box. So you die to it. Oh, you see me go to test to see if I can make it, which you can, and you need to, because you need to get through it with the monkey here. But what my only theory is that the box that's like, okay, you've messed it up, but it doesn't actually kill you yet, is slightly higher than the kill box, which is why my inputs were not registering and I was just hitting the lava. It's the only thing I can think to blame it on. The other thing that killed me though, which I can't blame on the lava, is just the finicky controls resulting in me just head smacking an obstacle, is coming right up. You can see like I was literally touching the spike there. I nearly hit it because I was the drift was just kept on going. You have to really pull back because the drift will just go on forever. And that, look, I just thought I was over it, but no. So I just cut, because I'm like, I'm not making you go for that section again, because that's a long section to do in one take. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that whole section, because it just feels very finicky, and it feels kind of weirdly programmed in places, and the whole lava thing just feels weird. This is your endpoint of no return. The reason why there is a save point here is because if you use the warp dance, it will take you here, so you can leave the level from here if you want to. Because when you beat the game and load it up, you'll just be there. Right on schedule. I figured a goody two-shoes like you might find a way to reverse the effects of dark magic. I assure you the process is now all complete. Where's the Dynamo, Risky? Ho ho ho! You'll see soon enough in the tender loving care of my Tinkerbats. My men have been working tirelessly to unlock the Dynamo's full potential, and it'll be long you're short-sighted, and I won't allow you to interfere. Penultimate boss, Risky Boots, Queen of the Seven Seas. Someone who was once the final boss in the original game, but in the next game is literally just the lackey. You fight her like five times in Seven Sirens. Not that I mind too much, like, I feel like a lot of casual journalists are being too kind to it, but a lot of like more critical journalists I usually go to are being too harsh on it. Like, the game is great, and it is extremely newcomer friendly, which is probably the intention, but it is missing things that are kind of staples in Castlevania, Metroidvania, sorry, like games, like being able to mark the map how you see fit, or having any kind of decent registry system. Like, the quick travel feels very outdated, and it's just, the game feels very old school, but it feels just old school. Like, it doesn't feel like it's being retro whilst doing something fresh with it. It just feels old school, and it ends up hurting more than helping. But I should probably actually talk about this fight for a bit. The Risky fight, if you've played any old Risky game, you kind of know what it is. And most of her equipment is a reference to Pirate's Curse, the third game in the series, where you used that very same equipment to get around, like the hat to help float around, like the gun and the cannon, etc, etc. But what is interesting is that if you're going for all the trophies and achievements, you need to kill this boss with the mouse. You need to bite her ankles until she dies. And now at this point, I had no memory of how much health Risky actually had. Truth is, I'd gone through about half. So this fight gets extended a hell of a lot longer than it ever should. Because I didn't know how close I was, so I just kept on... I just decided to keep with the mouse for the rest of the fight. To show you that it is absolutely possible to do it this way. And this is pretty much the rest of the fucking fight. It's just me biting her fucking ankles. Like, get it! Get it! And spamming the ever-living shit out of the square button. Because it is completely input sensitive. If you mash, it will go as fast as you mash. The only time I get out of the form is when it's attacks I don't plan on attacking her with. Because you are reducing your defense by going to the mouse form. And because you have unlimited magic, I can just use the scimitars to one-shot any Tinkerbats that come in, because all normal Tinkerbats have 1 HP. As soon as you land, back to the mouse, back to ankle biting. But back to what I was talking about, 7 Sirens. But the game is great. I am thoroughly enjoying what I've played so far. The game has great humour. The 7 Sirens themselves, I love their design and I love their boss fights, because even if they're still pretty goddamn easy, there's more effort in them than in this game. I've made it a point of it very forward. The biggest criticism I have of this game is that the bosses are easier than anything the levels ever present. The bosses are way too simplistic. Even Risky here, we're biting her with the fucking mouse for God's sake, and she's only hurting us because we're in the mouse form. Like, you can rip this game in two with no effort, and the bosses aren't a threat whatsoever. And it's a genuine criticism of this game, because the levels are respectable of any age group, regardless of whether you're new or old to video games. So if you're an old timer like me who's played it for fucking decades, or someone who doesn't really play games much, it's a respectable challenge that gets you into it. But the bosses are just... You switch off. Like, you forget half the bosses when you're not playing, because you're just like, oh, they're just so basic. Whilst the 7 Sirens, they're far more interesting fights, even if they are still piss easy. There's still gimmicks, there's still things in motion. You have to think outside the box every now and then. There's a lot more to it than just whack them till they die, or really basic easy concepts. Like, there's more to them. But what hurts them, that this game does better, is that there's less personality. You have no real reason to care for the 7 Sirens outside the last one. This is the end, Risky Boots. Give it up. Huh. You're too late. We'll show shared criticism between both games. Have all the lines voiced or none of them. None of this, like, sorta not. That's a criticism I can agree on from the more critical ones. I watched Some Call Me Johnny's review, and he's the one I'm referring to more. Like, I love Some Call Me Johnny's review, but I almost thought he was almost too harsh on 7 Sirens, in my personal opinion. I thought it was a lot better than he gave it credit to. I definitely think it's better than Half Genie Hero, the game we're playing now, which he said was the other way around. He felt Half Genie Hero was better bang for your buck. And it's like, well, although, yeah, there is a lot more DLC and content in this, I'm having a fuck ton more fun with 7 Sirens. Like, as soon as I finish it, I'm going through New Game Plus. But anyway, here's our final boss, the Tinkerbrain. The first part of this fight, because despite how it will try and imply differently, there is multiple phases to this. You're running in one set direction until you loosen one of the screws in its head. You're then whacking these circuits around the place to fill them up to charge with electricity. And then you're repeating the cycle. Just be careful. This is another bit. It's like, once you work out what's going on with this boss, it's still not difficult. Like, especially with the final boss. Like, I can be more critical when it's the final boss, I think. That it's this easy, I'm just like, come on. Also, when you light up all the charges, whatever gear is the one you last filled up is the one that will break off. So keep that in mind for whatever direction you want to go. I swapped to the monkey form here because I was genuinely like, I might not make it to the thing in time. But I managed to get it all. So now it's just a waiting game for it to charge up and break the screw off. One thing I will credit though, even though this final boss still isn't that hard, I like that there's more to it and more thought to it. Like, these kind of extra thought and extra effort you have to put into it is why I love 7 Sirens' boss fights a lot more. And I love the Dynamo. Its design, where it's just the eyes and the magnet to look like a smile. And it's got like the giant gear eyebrows and a brain. Like, it actually looks like a living thing that they've made out of the machine. Like, Risky has got a heart after all. Because the actual main piece of the Dynamo we remember is kind of like, looks nothing like this now. Other than maybe the magnet. But that's about it. But once you hit this in, Oh, I love this theme though. I can give the credit for that. This is a fucking amazing like theme. It's just a shame that the boss fight ends so quickly, because that's the boss. But it's not the end of the entire final boss, because it wouldn't be that easy. There is another phase yet to come, but we just got a cutscene yet. Phew, that was close. I deactivated the Dynamo just in time, and the Genie realm is safe and sound. Huh? That voice? You battled valiantly and accomplished so much. Daughter of the Genies. It's you! You've risked your life again, time and again to fight for justice in service of others, and we are forever grateful in your efforts to do this. I lost track of what they said. Post me skipping through the text through this. Like, I need to get back in the swing of reading it out loud as I'm recording, so I give myself enough time, because I have not been doing it in this project, and it is hurting me. It's hurting like current me, what past me did. On behalf of the entire Genie realm, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
No way! Is
This
the
Genie realm? Unfortunately, the corruption of our magic has begun. Do what you must to ensure peace. Oh ho ho! It's finally done. It's the very heart of the realm of magic. The power of the genies will be mine. Now do my bidding. Submit to me as your absolute ruler. Favorite fucking thing about the Dynamo? Watch the magnet. Angry Dynamo! I fucking love that. So simple. Yeah, I've chuckled every time I've seen it. What's happening? No! It worked. The power of the genies is mine, and the world will bow before me. I don't have any choice. Before risking claiming the power, I have to do it. I have to destroy the Genie realm at any cost. Time for the final boss, the real final boss. How this fight works might take you a few seconds to get the grip of. You're actually attacking the shadow genies around the arena, like this one here. When you break them, they will leave an orb behind. That orb you're then shooting into the center. But as you can see, past me forgot for a minute. So I'm running around, just start beating them up, but the old ones start regenerating back because I've left them long enough. But as you can see, you can need to time it to fit it in the gap. And I almost don't get it that first time. And that's how you damage it. This is a pretty solid final boss. When you compare it to everything else in this game, I know it's like really not saying much when you're based on my opinion. But I enjoy this final boss. It is an effective challenge. I just wish the rest of the game's bosses had this level of challenge, where there is a lot here and a lot attacking you. If you fought something with this level of firepower early on, it could be pretty damn tough, because the genies don't stop relenting. You're constantly having to pay attention to your background throughout the entire fight, because they're constantly on the attack. And they just get more and more aggressive, as I fuck it up again, as the fight goes on. The biggest mistake I make during the first chunk of this fight is that I keep on trying to rush it, trying to squeeze it in whilst it's still spinning. If you wait, it will always, the force field will always eventually come to a complete stop. On hardcore, I don't think it ever does come to a complete stop. You do actually have to try and time it. But as you can see, now it's going super fast because we missed our timing, so we need to wait for it to slow down again. But when it does eventually slow down, and I fuck it up again because I'm being impatient, it will eventually come to a complete stop, facing you regardless of where you are. Case in point. So now you can just squeeze it in and get the damage in. It takes 8 hits, I believe, to take this thing down. I think now I've learnt, and I start being more patient, just waiting for it to come to a complete stop. Yeah, and then just whack it in. So just be wary constantly. Have an eye on the other genies to see what they're doing, because those, you see those shadow waves, they're coming from those genies. And especially if you don't have the double defense, they fucking hurt. Well, I've done a run where I haven't picked up the double hearts and the double defense, and you feel it, man. Those things hurt. Ooh, nearly got caught there. There you go, let's say 4 damage. That's, if you get hit by that and you don't have the double defense, you lose 2 hearts straight up. And you have 14 hearts. It doesn't take much to put you down with those things. Yeah, not 15, like I said last part. It's literally just because I've been playing a lot of Wind Waker and I got my 15th heart container, so the number 15 was on my mind. And to be fair, Wind Waker's fucking great. It's a very underrated game in my opinion. I can see why a lot of people have grown to like it. It's still not my favourite Zelda, and it's a hill I will die on, that Twilight Princess is the best fucking Zelda game. Well, I haven't played Breath of the Wild, and I know everyone's loved it, but I don't have a Switch, so you have to live with me on that one. Like, I've played it before, but I haven't, like, proper owned it, played it, sort of thing. And it is great, it's just I'm not a huge open world guy. Like, I'm not majorly in super open worlds. I like the pseudo non-linear that the older Zelda games, Time of Ocarina of Time, have. But Twilight Princess is just fucking great. I also think Skyward Sword is drastically overrated, because I've given that game 3 full playthroughs after every time someone's gone, no, it's actually a lot better than you give it credit for, and every time I reach the end of it, trying to give it a fresh perspective, trying to appreciate it for what it is, and I fucking hate it. I'm sorry, Skyward Sword has just never been redeemable for me. Sorry, the boss is dead. Blasted, no good, meddling run, you ruined everything, my perfect plan. I almost had it all, but now I'll have the satisfaction of sending you straight to a fiery grave. Gotta get out of here. Zombie hamster? No, the zombie hamster lived. Huh? What's this? Take the zombie hamster with you. Hang on tight, we're getting out of here. Hurry! We're not quite done yet. We've got one last section to do. Remember that slide section we did at level 2? Well, that was a warm-up. Now it's time for the real one. And the music is a lot more intense. Because Risky's hideout is about to go up in smokes, and so we need to get out of here before the flame consumes us. And what you're going to start noticing as it goes on, you can already kind of see it. There's like a giant lava fall chasing us. That's coming out of Risky's hideout. For some reason, she built her hideout into a volcano, and now that volcano is just casually erupting. So you need to pay attention to that, because the amount of screen you have to work with is going to get smaller and smaller as it goes on. I'm curious if they did anything in hardcore mode for this section, like make the lava come in quicker or something, or made it so there's less hooks for these giant pits. This is the only section I died in, like, on both slides. This is the only section where I like fell off to my demise properly, because you can't game over here. Like, you don't have a health bar. It just restarts the section if you fall off. But I fell off a good couple times, I think, on my first playthrough. I can't really remember like 100% how many times, but I definitely did. Because of those bits where you just got to catch the hook and hope. And it's not the only time it does it as well. It does it again, like right here. You got to be pretty quick on the draw to catch on that that's going on and then react to it. But once you get there, that's as far as you go, and that's the end of that section. As you manage to just barely escape Risky's hideout before it goes up completely, taking you with it. I wish they had a different animation. Like for Shantae and Sky getting out. I wish they had a different animation for that bit there, because it just looks so jank as shit. But that's it. Yeah, we made it. It was a close call, too close. Thanks for the lift, Sky. Someone's got to keep an eye on you. It's like Sequin Land is safe from evil once again. Yeah, thanks to our half genie hero. Couldn't have done it without you guys. Hold up there. Mayor? So, Scuttletown is more or less repaired, and the position of Garden Genie is still available. You trying to ask Shantae something, Mayor? Okay, I can't think of anyone more qualified than you. Will you come back, pretty please? I never even left. Phew, thought I was gonna have to put on a little red outfit and start dancing around, you know. Oh, Mayor. So I guess I won't do that. Yeah, anyway, say hello to the new Garden Genie of Scuttletown. Yay. I think we made an excellent choice. Kids! Hey, Uncle. Thank goodness you made it all in one piece. When I saw the eruption, I feared I'd lost you. I'm fine. Secret Land is safe thanks to you guys. Yeah, I helped out a lot this time. Feeling pretty heroic, don't you know? Think I'll start a dojo, start training up the next people. Gotta dream big. Oh, fucking Bolo. I'm gonna take off too. My brothers Abner and Poe. They're thinking about renovating that old mansion up north. How cool. I'm gonna help them out, but after that, well, I think we're gonna go find a zombie caravan and travel for a bit. I miss my wagon. I want to see more of the world. And you should come with me. Zombie road trip? Sure, why not? Let me chew on it. Well, good take care of Doki. Huh? Post hamster. I better be going too. Need to feel wrenched to get him cleaned up. You never did tell me how you managed to grow so huge. What's the secret? It's a special diet. Salted caramels for birds. Rich goes nuts for him. I see. I think I'm going to set him free for a while so he can spend some time with his family. Knowing Wrench, he won't be gone long. He's crazy about you. And I'm crazy about him right back. Sky, you're so nice in this game. For how mean you are in the next game. An adventure you've had. Sorry about the Dynamo, Uncle. No, that's alright. What about you? Are you okay? What really happened back there? Risky used the Dynamo to change the Genie realm from good to evil. For a short while, I was actually there in the Genie realm with them. Something I've always dreamed of, but to stop Risky, I had to, well, they're all gone now. I'm sorry. I know you did what had to required. I'm sure your mother would be very proud of you. We are all proud of her. What? Who? Because we got the 4 side quests done, she acted selflessly and put the needs of others before her own. Then, the Genie realm's safe? Yes, by purifying our magic and turning it against the machine, you saved us all. Wow, I guess your polarizer did the trick, Uncle. Ah, so it did. And what about my mother? Is she safe too? Your mother is alive and well in the Genie realm, and she has devoted herself to the protection of your world. She and the other genies must remain here, where their combined powers can ward off the greater evils that would seek to enter your world. This is why she had to leave so long ago, along with the other genies. It was to protect us? Yes, so you could grow up under the safety and care of your uncle. She wanted you to know this, but only when you are old enough to understand the meaning of her sacrifice. I understand. She also wants you to know that you are never alone. There is special magic, a gift that she has placed upon your heart. For real? Your family is never far away as you might think. Take comfort in knowing that she is with you always. And she loves you very much. And now I must return to the Genie realm. If you see my mother, tell her that I understand what she's done for us and that I love her right back. I will tell her. Good luck. And to you. Come on, Uncle. Where are we going? To celebrate, of course, and to find you a new, less dangerous hobby. Ha, that reminds me. I recently unearthed a design for something called a bicycle. For my next project, I'm going to build one for you. Shame that didn't pop up in 7 Sirens. Being able to ride, like, give Shantae a bicycle to speed up movement. Something practical. That'd be cool. Till next time, daughter of the genies, goodbye and farewell. And that is Shantae, half genie hero. And we get to listen to this fucking amazing theme again. Dance Through the Danger is literally the sexiest piece of music in this series. It's literally my favourite track in the entire Shantae series. Rise and Shine Shantae, the main theme of the next game, is nowhere near as good as this. This is such a fucking good theme. But that's Shantae, half genie hero. I'm glad I came and did it. It was my first venture into Shantae when I first played it, and I'm glad I did. It's very welcoming and very enjoyable, even with my issues I have. And something that now 7 Sirens is out and I played some of that, I wish 7 Sirens did, was expand on some of the lore they were setting up near the end of this. Because they're talking about so much of the Genie realm and what the purpose is and everything. They could have done a lot more with that, but they just don't. And it's just a bit like I wish they kind of did. And it's the same in the next game. Pretty much every character that's introduced in the next game, I want them to do more within a 6th game. I want them to have more exploration, more playtime, more actual lore. Like, I want the 6th game to be kind of more, like, not serious, because that's not this series, but more serious. I want more to go on with it to make it work, to make it flow. Like, to just expand on the world, to make me more invested in the whole world and not just Shantae. But that being said, this credit section is actually fucking tiny, so I'm going to wrap it up here. The next time you see me in a Let's Play will absolutely be SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, assuming there isn't any weird recording things that they decide to do for it. But until then, you guys take care now. Well, you still got a bonus video, but still, take care.